In this week's video, I'm going to be telling you all about my experience of my first 2 weeks of university, from seemingly losing the ability to read to planning disasters. So yeah, keep hanging around and you'll find out everything that I've experienced in these past 2 weeks. Let's start with maybe the most interesting experience, and that is to seemingly lose the ability to read. As some of you may know, I'm a pretty fast reader normally. I usually read 20 pages in around 10 minutes, maybe 15. But when you're reading scientific articles and textbooks, that changes quite a bit. And of course, I had expected my reading to slow down a little bit, but what I didn't expect is to suddenly need 4 minutes per one side of a page, although that was including taking notes. Me all of a sudden needing that much time was quite a shocker for me, and it immediately triggered some thinking like, am I really sure this is the right level for me? Should I even be at university? What the hell am I doing here? And even though I knew it wasn't true, it did go through my head more than once. Luckily, though, soon I found out that nearly everyone from my class was struggling with this, and everyone was asking each other, how much time did you spend on reading? How much time did it cost you? And then we also discovered that for your first months of university, reading 5 pages per hour is considered normal. And then all of a sudden my 4 minutes per page didn't seem that long anymore. This showed me once again how much our perception of the reality changes our mindset and how we feel about things. Because as soon as I knew that my reading speed was still way faster than considered normal, I was like, of course, I knew I could do this. And the lesson in this, I think, is that we always need to keep checking whether our perception of the reality is the absolute truth before starting to panic and questioning yourself. Next up on my experience list was planning disasters, and if you know me a little bit, you know that isn't very common for me. Only one day after we discussed all of our planning systems and strategies in class, and telling everyone that I was really happy with my system and almost never had to stress at all, I discovered that I missed a page on the online learning thingy where all of our assignments are posted, and it turned out that I needed to read an extra 4 articles and hand in an assignment all within the next 36 hours. That definitely caused me to stress a little bit, or more than a little bit. In the end, everything worked out and I was able to finish all of my work on time, but this shows once again that even people who are considered to be good at some things sometimes fail at that same thing, and that's okay as long as you learn from your mistakes and then just keep going. No one gets it perfectly from the start, especially when beginning something new like university. My next experience, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your view, was online lectures. With the current COVID restrictions in the Netherlands, there were only allowed up to 75 people in a lecture hall. So almost all of our lectures we needed to follow online. And as most of you will probably remember from the Zoom era, online lectures or even normal classes aren't exactly the most engaging activity and are pretty hard to keep your focus with. Even though I've obviously had some experience with all of these Zoom classes, it still isn't easy to keep your focus, and I'll have to admit that most of the time I didn't. Instead of paying attention to the lecture, I, for example, learned how to properly propagate a few of my plants, a few new editing techniques, and texted with my friends. And I don't think that would be considered as paying attention in class. Fortunately, being the good student that I am, I did end up rewatching most of the lectures at 2.5x speed at a later time to keep my focus engaged and actually take in everything that's taught during the lectures. Luckily, from the 25th of September on, we are once again allowed to be in a lecture hall with as many people as want to come. So then I'll get to experience the full college experience or university experience for the first time. And hopefully attending a lecture in person will help me stay focused on the material as well. Next up, we have people. Luckily, even after 2 weeks, everyone from my class is still very nice and easy to talk to. The atmosphere is great and everyone seems to get along with everyone. And I have also discovered that even presenting in front of the class is way less nerve-wracking when it at least feels like everyone respects one another. So that is a really big bonus for me, because as I've told you in videos before, I do get very nervous for a presentation, even if it's just an introduction one or 30 seconds seconds, but I haven't really experienced that with this class yet because it just feels very comfortable. In addition, the teachers are very nice as well, so that's always really nice because a class gets way more enjoyable when the teacher is actually nice. So yeah, as far as it comes to people, everything has been great so far, and I think it will keep being that way. So that was the summary of my first 2 weeks of university. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking it, and if you want to see more of my videos, please consider subscribing. And with that being said, I hope to see you in next week's video.